a professor. I'm a professional engineer.
We do mistakes, sir. The professors are known for doing mistakes.
That's okay. That's why I didn't want to fall in that category. So, today I'm going to talk to you about my experiences of doing some seva work for a not-for-profit organization which is registered here in the United States and abides by the rules and regulations of this country. And I will basically share with you some of the projects we have for seva in this country and other places, and how it helps me and some of the other people who work with me on these projects to attain some level of happiness. We all live in this great country. This is the most prosperous country in the world, and we are living in the most progressive society in history. And despite that, when we look around, we see people are always unhappy. We have our paddle to the metal, and we are going full throttle. And sometimes we think if we take the foot off of that paddle, what will happen? Maybe we are afraid. We don't know the consequences. Some people are trying to seek happiness from one place or the other, and they're trying their best. And so we have gone through so many presentations here, and probably may learn something from it. And as we go back, I will work with you and go through my presentation. Hopefully you will take something out of it. Since I'm no authority on happiness, all I did was pick up some quotes from internet. And I can add one from Dr. Mehta here also. Aristotle said happiness depends on ourselves. Rumi said when all your desires are distilled, you will cast two votes. One is to love and the other one is to be happy. Robert Bolden said your happiness is a gift because it literally brings out the best in you. I forgot my water.
I'll get it.
I'll get it. Thank you. So Marshall Rosenberg said, when our communication supports compassionate giving and receiving, happiness replaces violence and grieving. And like we heard today, Dr. Mehta talked about, the true happiness is when it does not depend on circumstances. So I'll add that to this next time I have to give this presentation in English. The takeaway basically from this slide is that true happiness is what we found inside ourselves. Now, question is, what will bring me happiness? We all talk about happiness, inner happiness, and what it means and all those things, but what will bring me happiness? So we also heard today through so many presentations that there are so many things that we hold on in our lives that do not bring us happiness, that do not bring peace to us, or they do not even bring us good health. So what we have to do is stop holding on to such things that we have in our lives. And we have emotions in our lives. How we handle those emotions, how we treat those emotions is dependent on us. And if we shift those things, bring in positive energy, positive attitude, we will be better off, maybe lead to happiness. That's also something we have heard today. Thirdly, I would say do random things, whatever makes you happy. So when you feel love and kindness towards others, it not only makes the other person feel loved and cared for, it also, the giver feels that they are developing some kind of inner happiness by their act of giving. So let's talk about happiness through seva. What is seva? It's an act of love and kindness. It is similar to invest, similar to what is volunteering. Why do people volunteer? They either have to help a cause or they want to be associated with an organization that they believe in. And seva is a selfless service. This is a service where when you do something, you do not expect anything in return. You don't expect to get paid for it. So that is what is selfless service. It is also an energy exchange. You heard today that every person has a level of energy associated with them. So when you do seva, you interact with that other person, and in that interaction, even though you are not expecting anything in return, you get blessings. You get the energy from the other person. So there's an energy exchange taking place. And seva usually follows the law of vacuum. So when you give something without expecting anything in return, the universe works and tries to do something good for you. The law of vacuum is that there is no vacuum. So when you give, you create a space, and the whole universe comes together basically to fill that space. Like they say, what goes around comes around. So you are giving and it gets multiplied and comes back to you. So giving is a good thing. The concept of seva, for us, it started long back. It's a word in Sanskrit that stands for service. So phonetically, it has two parts. It's very easy to say, but basically, though it's easy to say, it has got vast implications as regards to its multifaceted expression, effect, and action. According to Holy Gita, seva is the essence of devotion. It is considered to be the foremost quality of human life. Seva is also the most essential virtue. When you do seva, you may be probably helping a child or a blind person to cross a road. That is seva. But you can also be helping a refugee from a war-torn place, or a refugee from a place where something very nasty happened, like 9/11. People were not refugees there, but they were running away from terror. So if people help them, that is something like seva. And I want you to remember the word refugee. I will come back to it later on in one of my slides. And I also want you to remember that seva is in a way also means like it's like a thread. And through that thread it signifies that you are connected with the whole. If you serve one, you are serving the whole, and you are getting connected with the whole. Seva is also doubly blessed. One who is served definitely feels that they are being cared for. And then the one who serves also enjoys some kind of self-contentment. So the true meaning of seva is to serve everyone with a feeling that one is serving the God himself. Talking about seva through organization, I work with a few recognized non-profit organizations with tax exemption status through IRS under their 501c3. I have worked with KOA, which is Kashmiri Overseas Organization. I've come from Kashmir, which is the northernmost part of India, and I was driven out of Kashmir because of fundamentalism and terrorism in Kashmir. That is why I said refugees. So I became a refugee in my own country, but I was fortunate enough to come to this country and realize the American dream. I have everything that one would have imagined for. And my way of giving back to my society or my community was to get involved in seva projects. And I have my community people living in an area called Jammu in J&K state in Kashmir, where they are still living as refugees in camps. So I started with the help of many others to provide education to children. And that program has now been going on for almost 20 years. And then I got involved with another organization called Vishwa Hindu Parishad of America, also known as the World Hindu Council. We work and have lots of programs of seva. So that is my involvement of Seva through these organizations. The mission for Vishwa Hindu Parishad for Seva is to provide community service to people in distress without the consideration of race, religion or nationality. We provide community service in the United States of America. We help victims of natural disasters. We help the less fortunate people. That is what our mission is. Now, what is the focal point of our Seva programs? There are three areas where we have our programs. One is here in this country because we live here. We are the citizens of this country now. We have programs back home in India because that's where we came from. We are the original citizens of India. So this may be our Karm Bhumi, but our Mata Bhumi is India, so we have programs there. But rest of the world also belongs to us, and whenever there is an opportunity to help, we do. We have programs of helping out everywhere. So our focus is in 6 fields: our family, our children and youth, our elderly, our community, our institutions, and definitely our environment. And I will go through some examples how and where we have programs for all these activities. I just put this timeline because Vishwa Hindu Parishad was put together and incorporated as a non-profit organization in 1974. Then they started programs like Bal Vihar to involve children and educate them, create books for them. Formally started a Seva project in 1978. So the organization has been in place for a long time. They have so many programs in place for people to volunteer and to serve other people in need. So I'm going to share some of the pictures with you. These are the Bal Vihars we have in place. This is where people volunteer to educate young children and give them values that they could actually learn from. And they are given, in addition to teaching the value system that we so are proud of, also what the heritage that they are and the roots that they belong to are shared with them. We also have camps and youth conferences. The camps bring the children together and we get to learn from them and they get to learn a lot of the things. And people actually manage and organize these camps as volunteers and run these camps as volunteers. And the youth conferences are held annually, basically to discuss with these children what issues they are facing, what problems they are facing, also opening them up to new avenues. We have publications in place to provide them means to educate themselves about their heritage, as well as provide them knowledge so that they can stand firm, not be afraid. Now, talking about what social programs we have back in India, the focus is twofold. One is education, and the second one is disaster relief. And in addition to this, we also have some programs like healthcare facilities and other things that we support. Under our education program, we have a program called Support a Child. And this has been started back in 1985. Currently, we support 800 children. These are the children coming from below poverty families or orphans. And our goal is basically to do 8,000 children in the next 5 to 10 years. I have 2 people here actually, Kaushik Bhai and Charu Patel, who actually run this program for the Northeast Corridor in US and generate funds so that we can support and educate children who need that support back in India. Similarly, under the education program, you must be aware about the Ekal Vidyalaya. It was a project started by VHPA, but then it was actually let go and become something on its own. This was put together to provide education and awareness, healthcare awareness in Adivasi areas in India. This is a one teacher going to one village and one teacher school educating people in far-flung areas that nobody can even go. There is no roads and all. Adivasis is tribal people. And that program, the Ekal Vidyalaya, has close to 100,000 schools now in India. Under the disaster relief, there are so many examples, and I just picked a couple of them. Gujarat earthquake, when you remember there was a huge earthquake that hit the state of Gujarat that time. People came together, they raised funds, and then they basically went and adopted one whole town, and for that one town they provided everything that they could to help support the local community there. Similarly, recently we had floods in Uttaranchal. That time we raised funds and tried to help there as well. When the tsunami hit the Asia, many countries in Asia, Southeast Asia, that time we also raised funds and basically adopted one village and provided boats to people so that they could earn their living, not only give them food or blankets or something, but they could earn their living and start their life all over again. It's a means of providing livelihood. Seva in America, we have many programs for Seva in America because this is our adopted land, we live here. We go to homeless soup kitchens, we serve the people there, we go care for the elderly, we have done blanket distributions, we adopt a highway and go clean it, we do Seva in hospitals and nursing homes, and also provide free service if needed. These are some of the pictures going to homeless shelters and serving food, or going to nursing homes and taking care of the elderly. There is also Asheri is another program we have. U.S. government actually lifted about 65,000 refugees from Bhutan and got them to this country, and they were settled in various parts of this country. So these are the people who did not know English and had not seen anything other than those refugee camps where they were settled for decades and decades. So when they came here to assimilate in this society, they needed help. They needed help with language, they needed help with getting jobs, they needed help with learning how to drive and things like that. And we came together with them in trying to help them out. And when Katrina hit this country, we came together again. Some of the volunteers actually went, not only raised money or to send blankets or something else, but actually rented a U-Haul, got the supplies, went to places there in the disaster hit areas to really help people get in touch with one-on-one and be able to help and serve. And these are the pictures from helping in the soup kitchens and other places. Like I said, we have programs in other places of the world as well. When earthquake hit Chile or Haiti, we have raised funds and worked with USAID and other such non-profit organizations to provide help. We have help in the places like Australia and Philippines and other places. So these are the kinds of works we do through Seva, and Seva definitely helps to, it's a means to promote humility and remove ego that we have been talking about. That somebody mentioned today that ego is the final person who signs the check. So, so through the practice of Seva, one can actually do self-realization, and it has helped me as a means of giving back to the society and the community that I belong to, and it's been very fulfilling for me, and I hope you guys would get involved in Seva work and do some kind of Seva that would be thrilling as well as fulfilling to you.